Before we begin, I do want to make one thing clear about this move that DeRozan attempted on Dragic. I implore every trainer and coach out there to remove it from your bag of shots. It has to stop being taught, as it's dangerous when you rip through violently with your elbows at the defender's face. Dragic is moving backwards in this and still takes the full force of DeRozan's elbow swing, which happens much too often and makes the game unsafe for any defender occupying his own space. If you're a player, I implore you to stop using this move, and if you're a coach, please stop teaching it. Thanks. Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to BBallBreakdown. Don't forget, tonight, after the Spurs-Thunder game, I'm going to be having a live post-game show. You can ask me questions about the game or anything about the NBA using hashtag BBallShow. So definitely get on there. We had a great one the other night, a lot of people coming in. Now let's talk a little bit about the Raptors versus the Heat, because it's an interesting series where they both have gone to overtime. However, it definitely feels like the Heat seem to have an advantage here, and I want to be a little bit of an offensive snob here because it centers on the offense of the Raptors being so stagnant and so ISO heavy. They really didn't pass the ball much in the regular season. They were also almost dead last in assists per game, and it's not how they play, which is fine. And you know what? The Heat are guilty of stagnant offense as well from time to time, but they seem to get a lot easier shots consistently. So I would be surprised if the Heat turned the ball over as much as they did in the first quarter of this last night's game. It was kind of ridiculous, kind of unforced for a lot of those. And remember, a game that goes to overtime, you can only imagine if one or two of those turnovers don't happen, they're just missed shots. Well, guess what? The Heat win that game. So I want to show you what's going on in this game too and what happened here. A lot of things and games within the game. And also, don't forget, head over to our website for some of the best writing you're going to see on the NBA around. And then download our mobile app, because there you can get everything in one package and you can communicate with our community there. There's a lot of GIFs and polls and texts and all sorts of stuff happening there. And it's really incredible. You can also direct message me, and it's another great way to get me and ask me questions too. So don't forget, live post-game show tonight. And here is the breakdown of the Heat versus Raptors Game 2. To start out the game, the Heat had a serious case of the yips, turning it over 11 times in the first quarter alone on a variety of mistakes. Here, Dragic throws himself in front of the defender, and the refs have no choice but to call the offensive foul. Wade casually dribbles down court. There wasn't really anywhere for him to go, and he dribbles it off his foot. Here's a defensive mistake. Deng has been red hot from three, yet Carroll is helping off him one pass away, but again, Wade doesn't protect the ball and he gets it stripped. While this is a fantastic play by DeRozan to get the steal, why is Dragic throwing a 27-foot bounce pass? And all Dragic has to do is throw a pass to Winslow's chest, and they can't even connect across a 10-foot span. And Stoudemire got into the action on a pass that was never really open. He just throws it, and Terrence Ross gets his long arm on it for the steal. Those turnovers did give us a glimpse into what the Raptors offense could look like if they'd attack on the catch and focus on moving the ball with the pass a lot more than they normally do. When they get pace and space and attacking the middle and kicking, then making the extra pass, it is actually exciting and generates the best shots I've seen them take all season. Meanwhile, this is what their offense usually looks like. It's very rote. Biyombo, you must pass to DeRozan. DeRozan, you have to pass to Joseph. Joseph, you wait 5 seconds before the screen comes and then take the long two. There is an interesting game within a game here, and that's Whiteside versus Valanciunas. Whiteside was able to exploit his quickness. When Jonas tried to contain the ball handler, Whiteside can get to the hoop and finish the dunk in his face. Again, Whiteside's damage was done off rolling to the hoop, where he could get separation, then step through strong to the rim. This was an action that was killing the Raptors throughout the first half, no matter who was the ball handler. Meanwhile, Valanciunas was doing his damage on ISO post-ups down low. Here's a gorgeous shot fake, then step through to get around the long arms of Whiteside. They would have him set a ball screen before rolling hard to the opposite block for good position. However, Whiteside had some success holding his ground and maintaining good vertical position and making Jonas look foolish. There were a couple of key runs in this game, and at the end of the third, the Heat were able to take control with a 13-2 run that seemed to take the wind completely out of the Raptors' sails. Out of horns, Wade uses the double ball screen. Great tandem of Biyombo and Carroll to contain and get back. But on the secondary attack, Deng slips the ball screen, DeRozan gambles for the pass instead of being in better initial position, and Deng gets the goaltended basket. Meanwhile, the Raptors wasted their time walking it up and messing around with some handoffs, not even beginning their attack till there was 10 seconds left on the clock. Then Biyombo gets called for the illegal screen, which almost seemed like a makeup call for this screen he got away with 2 possessions earlier. More horns for the Heat, and I love how Richardson makes the entry pass at half court, giving him tons of space to get running at full speed. Lowry gambles on the pass and is caught way behind the play. Carroll would have been the help, but does not see man and ball at all, and Richardson gets an and one. Again, more stagnant offense that just feels like the Raptors are playing not to lose instead of playing to win. DeRozan continually catches the ball and holds it, although this is also a function of their molasses offense. There's also a distinct lack of cutting through the lane. Watch DeRozan get cut off, passes it out, then backs up to the perimeter. This is the kind of thing that stalls an offense. Lowry gets the ball screen and just settles for a long 3 when he's just not shooting well all series. The Raptors run 25, a play out of the Spurs playbook where the 2 guards screens for the center before the center screens for the ball. I like the flow into a dribble pitch here, and the 2-man game gets an okay look, but Joseph can't hit. The Heat run Green off an Iverson cut. Had he caught it, Haslem ball screens for him, but it's misdirection to come back to the left side for a Wade post-up. He faces up and hits a nice bank shot. Again, same kind of action here after the pick and roll. It flows into a dribble pitch. Biyombo is simply not a threat, so Haslem can leave him to contest this mid-range fadeaway that bricks. It feels like DeRozan wants Dwayne Wade's mid-range game. He's just not good enough to emulate him. Wade shows him how it's done as he rejects the screen and hops into a fadeaway long 2 and nails it. With a chance for a 2-for-1, they can't get on the same page as Joseph barks at Patterson for setting the screen too early. And while this was good movement, as soon as it gets to DeRozan, time stands still. Yielding a 7-dribble ISO against a very good defender, and we get another brick. Meanwhile, Dwayne Wade shows him how an end-of-clock situation is handled, using the ball screen to get to the elbow before leaning back into his 16-footer that drops straight through. And in the fourth, the Heat really took control of this game and seemingly were going to take a 2-0 lead. With it tied, they run horns, Dragic around the pick and roll, and he's got this move down. Stop on the quick 1-2, then pull the front foot back into a jumper. Meanwhile, the Raptors tried running the weave, but were thwarted when Joseph turns his body into Green. We used to see this called a lot when the passer turned his back, and this is nothing unusual and a good call, the equivalent of a moving screen. More horns for the Heat, this time a pick and roll twist. And I like how Deng starts out at the elbow screening the ball, then cuts through to the weak side corner. Dragic's attack freezes Patterson just enough to give Deng a sliver of daylight. On the step-up screen, Dragic does his best impersonation of Steve Nash as he dribbles at baseline, comes all the way back around, getting Valanciunas on him in the process before finding Whiteside all alone when Ross doesn't switch onto him. However, the Raptors did not die and rode their own streak down the stretch to get back in this game. And it started out with a cross screen to get low post position for Jonas. And once he got settled and could attack, he gets a little room to the middle, absorbs the contact, and stretches out with big strides to finish this finger roll. With the inside ball screen for Lowry, the Heat contain okay, but it looks a lot like the Nash play as Lowry comes all the way around for the shot. Because Whiteside had to switch on to him, Valanciunas was able to command great position to grab the offensive rebound and put it back without much effort from Whiteside. Down 2 and out of the timeout, it doesn't look like the Raptors are on the same page. Jonas sets the ball screen, but Lowry is clearly calling for some other action that Carroll is late getting to. He then decides to go to Ross off the pin down, and with time running down and everyone standing there, Ross gets to do his thing, which is snake dribble to the elbow and pull up when Whiteside, worried about Valanciunas, doesn't even get a hand up. It's a tie game now. The Heat are reeling and go to Joe Johnson out of horns. They run a double ball screen into double pin down for Johnson. Wade doesn't give it to him when he's open coming off, so now they reset into the high ball screen that gave them so much success in the first half. Problem is, look at the right corner. This is terrible spacing with Wade wandering out there, and by the time he cuts through, Ross is able to help on Whiteside rolling. Johnson gets Carroll up in the air, lots of contact, but no call. Meanwhile, the Raptors come down with DeRozan fishing for a shot. Can't get it, but when he gets it back out on top, he shoots it. There really isn't any contact by Deng, but the rule is that he needs to give the shooter a place to land, so 2 free throws. Perhaps in a ball don't lie moment, DeRozan misses both, but give tremendous credit to Valanciunas, who deserves the game ball with his tenacious play, tipping it in while being sandwiched. Up 2 with the Heat desperately needing a stop, Valanciunas runs up to the inside ball screen. Whiteside doesn't get within 7 feet of Lowry, and while I like the contest by Dragic from behind, Whiteside has to at least get a hand up 1 step closer. Lowry calmly knocks it down, and the game is almost on ice for the Raptors. At 7 feet with long arms, Whiteside needs to understand that he could block Lowry's vision of the rim if he just puts his hands up, even if he gives him a 6 feet cushion. Desperate for a score, the Heat turn to Dwayne Wade, who improbably pulls up off the dribble for a 3. This shocked everybody, and the fact that it went in was even more surprising, considering he simply does not take or make them at all. In the if it ain't broke, don't fix it category, the Raptors run the exact same play. This ain't a replay, sports fans, and they get the same exact result, a much too easy jumper that Lowry nails in the clutch. That sets up this possession. Needing a 3, Casey had the option of fouling and putting them on the free throw line, but you can't do that unless there are less than, I'd say, 9 seconds on the clock. But you do tell your players to switch everything. I like how they got Wade going full speed off the Dragic screen, although he doesn't wait long enough to set it, but then screens for Johnson. Joseph got the switching memo and jumps out onto Johnson, but Carroll not only doesn't switch, he then hangs out for a beat or 2 in no man's land. A total brain fart. Easy pass to Dragic, wide open 3, and he ties the game. Dwayne Casey had a whole timeout to draw up a game-winning play. Not much pressure on the home team in a tie game, so you'd think they'd run something. How about the pick and roll for Lowry again? Maybe get DeRozan coming around for a shot. Instead, they run this. And all I can say is, can you hear me shaking my head? In overtimes, especially in the playoffs, the home team is heavily favored to win, and the Raptors did their part behind more heroics by Valanciunas. He gets the block on the Whiteside short shot, then grabs the rebound, and hits a crucial jumper off the pick and pop to give them a cushion. The Heat simply couldn't score in the overtime, and now we've got ourselves a real series. Had the Raptors lost the first 2 games at home, it would have been over. But now there's some life, and it'll be interesting to see if the Heat turn it over at home as much as they did last night. If not, they should win comfortably in Game 3.